At its core, mysticism, just the word evokes a sense of mystery, depth, and a profound connection to the divine. It's a concept that transcends cultural boundaries, yet it manifests differently across the globe. Today we're diving deep into the mystical traditions of the East and the West, exploring their unique paths, practices, and philosophies. We'll discover how different cultures approach the divine, what they seek, and how they strive to connect with the ultimate reality. Whether you're familiar with these traditions or just curious about the mystical world, this journey promises to be enlightening. Let's begin by exploring the essence of mysticism itself and how it's perceived across cultures. At its core, mysticism refers to the pursuit of a direct, personal experience of the divine, the transcendent, or the absolute. It's not just about belief or dogma. It's about a transformative experience that often transcends the ordinary boundaries of reality. Mysticism can involve visions, deep meditative states, or moments of profound insight where the mystic feels a direct connection with something greater than themselves. Throughout history, mystics have been individuals who pushed the boundaries of their religious traditions. They often sought to transcend the ordinary, everyday experience of reality to connect with a higher power or consciousness. These experiences were frequently described in vivid, poetic language, capturing the ineffable nature of the mystical encounter. To truly understand mysticism, it's important to look at the lives of those who have walked this path. Let's start with the West. Consider Saint John of the Cross, a 16th-century Spanish mystic whose writings continue to inspire Christian mystics today. Saint John was imprisoned by his fellow monks for his reformist ideas. During his imprisonment, in the darkness and isolation of a small cell, he wrote The Dark Night of the Soul, a poem and treatise that describes the soul's journey through purification and into the divine light. His work is a profound testament to the idea that spiritual trials can lead to deep, transformative experiences of God. In the East, we find the life of Ramana Maharshi, a 20th-century Indian mystic whose teachings centered on self-inquiry and the realization of the self's oneness with Brahman. Ramana's own awakening occurred at the age of 16, when he suddenly became acutely aware of his own mortality. This realization led him into a state of profound self-awareness, where he recognized the eternal, unchanging nature of the self. He spent the rest of his life teaching others to seek this same realization, emphasizing that true mysticism is about knowing who we really are. Now, let's dive deeper into Western mysticism, which has been profoundly shaped by the religious traditions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In Christian mysticism, the journey is often described as a path of purification, illumination, and union. Figures like Saint John of the Cross and Saint Teresa of Avila are famous for their descriptions of the dark night of the soul, a period of intense spiritual struggle and purification that eventually leads to a profound union with God. For these mystics, the goal is to experience God not just as a distant creator, but as a living presence within the soul. This journey is deeply personal and often involves contemplative prayer, ascetic practices, and a profound sense of love and devotion. One of the most influential Christian mystics, Meister Eckhart, a 13th-century Dominican friar, often spoke of the birth of God in the soul, a mystical event where the soul comes to realize its divine origin. Eckhart's teachings were radical for his time, emphasizing that every person has the potential to experience this divine birth within themselves. His sermons, filled with paradoxical statements, challenged his listeners to look beyond literal interpretations of Scripture and experience the divine presence directly. Moving to Jewish mysticism, we find Kabbalah, a tradition that explores the hidden dimensions of the Torah. Kabbalists believe that by delving deeply into the sacred texts and through practices like meditation and the use of divine names, one can uncover the divine light that permeates all existence. The Tree of Life, a central symbol in Kabbalah, represents the different aspects of God's interaction with the world and serves as a map for the spiritual seeker. A key text in Kabbalistic mysticism is the Zohar, a mystical commentary on the Torah. The Zohar explores the nature of God, the origin of the universe, and the role of humanity in the cosmic order. It is said that each letter of the Torah holds deep, mystical significance, and by meditating on these letters, one can access higher realms of consciousness. In Islamic mysticism, known as Sufism, the emphasis is on love and the longing for a direct experience of God. Sufi mystics like Rumi express this longing through poetry and music, emphasizing that the journey to God is a journey of the heart. Practices like dhikr, the remembrance of God through repetitive chanting, help the Sufi to focus on the divine and achieve a state of spiritual ecstasy. The famous whirling dervishes of the Mevlevi order, for example, use dance as a form of meditation, spinning in harmony with the universe to achieve a deeper connection with God. Rumi, perhaps the most famous Sufi poet, wrote, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." This quote captures the essence of Sufi mysticism, where the trials and tribulations of life are seen as opportunities for spiritual growth. Rumi's poetry is filled with imagery of longing, love, and union, reflecting the Sufi belief that the soul's journey is one of returning to its divine source. Now let's turn our gaze to the East, where mysticism takes on different, yet equally profound forms. In Hinduism, mysticism is often about realizing the oneness of the self or Atman with the universal consciousness or Brahman. This realization is seen as the ultimate goal of human life, and different paths or yogas are offered to achieve this. For example, Bhakti Yoga is the path of devotion, where the mystic surrenders completely to God, often personified as a deity like Krishna or Shiva. This path is filled with love and devotion, leading to an intense, personal relationship with the divine. On the other hand, Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, involves deep inquiry and meditation, aiming to transcend the ego and realize the non-dual nature of reality. A significant text in Hindu mysticism is the Bhagavad Gita, a dialogue between the prince Arjuna and the god Krishna. In this text, Krishna reveals the various paths to union with the divine, emphasizing that devotion, knowledge, and selfless action are all valid ways to reach the ultimate goal. The Gita has inspired countless mystics over the centuries, including Mahatma Gandhi, who saw it as a guide for both spiritual and practical life. In Buddhist mysticism, the focus is on the inner journey to enlightenment. Unlike theistic traditions, Buddhism doesn't posit an eternal God. Instead, it emphasizes the realization of the impermanence of all things, the cessation of desire, and the achievement of nirvana, a state of liberation from the cycle of birth and rebirth. Practices like vipassana meditation encourage deep introspection and awareness, helping the practitioner to see the true nature of reality. Zen Buddhism, with its emphasis on sudden enlightenment through practices like zazen, sitting meditation, and koans, paradoxical questions, seeks to break through the illusions of the mind and directly experience the world as it is. The Heart Sutra, a key text in Mahayana Buddhism, encapsulates the essence of Buddhist mysticism with the famous phrase, "Form is emptiness, emptiness is form." This paradoxical statement points to the non-dual nature of reality, where the distinctions between self and other, form and emptiness, are seen as mere illusions. Understanding this non-dual nature is central to the Buddhist mystical experience. Taoist mysticism, found primarily in China, offers yet another perspective. Here the goal is to align oneself with the Tao, the fundamental principle that underlies and unites all things in the universe. Taoist mystics seek to become one with the Tao through practices such as meditation, Tai Chi, and the cultivation of vital energy or Qi. The Tao Te Ching, attributed to Laozi, serves as a guide for those seeking to live in harmony with the natural flow of life. Unlike the more structured paths of the West, Taoist mysticism is fluid and intuitive, emphasizing simplicity, spontaneity, and harmony with the cosmos. A famous Taoist saying goes, "Those who know do not speak, those who speak do not know." This highlights the ineffable nature of the Tao, which cannot be fully captured in words but must be experienced directly. Taoist mysticism emphasizes living in accordance with the Tao, allowing one's actions to flow naturally and effortlessly, in harmony with the rhythms of the universe. So, what happens when we compare these mystical traditions? What can we learn from their similarities and differences? One of the key differences lies in their approach to the divine. In the West, the divine is often perceived as a personal God, someone with whom one can have a relationship, pray to, and receive guidance from. The mystical journey in the West is frequently about deepening this personal relationship, experiencing God as an intimate presence within the soul. In contrast, Eastern mysticism often emphasizes an impersonal absolute, a universal consciousness that one becomes a part of rather than communicates with. The goal is less about union with a personal deity and more about dissolving the ego and realizing one's oneness with the cosmos. This difference reflects the broader philosophical distinctions between East and West. The West tends to focus on dualism, the separation of God and the individual, while the East often embraces non-dualism, the idea that all is one. Another key difference is in the concept of the self. Western mysticism, especially in Christianity, often involves the purification and transformation of the self in preparation for divine union. The self is something to be refined and elevated. In Eastern traditions like Buddhism and Hinduism, however, the self is seen as an illusion, a construct that must be transcended or dissolved to achieve enlightenment or liberation. The mystic's journey is about moving beyond the self to realize a deeper, more universal identity. However, despite these differences, there are significant overlaps as well. Both Eastern and Western mystics recognize the limitations of ordinary perception and the potential for transcendent experiences that reveal deeper truths about existence. Both traditions value practices that quiet the mind, whether through prayer, meditation, or contemplation, and both see the mystical journey as one that ultimately leads to a profound transformation of the individual. Mysticism has not only influenced religious thought but has also left a profound mark on art, literature, and culture. In the West, the mystical experiences of saints and mystics have inspired countless works of art, from the writings of Dante in the Divine Comedy to the paintings of Hieronymus Bosch, whose surreal, otherworldly depictions often reflect the inner landscapes of the mystical journey. In the East, mystical themes are prevalent in the poetry of figures like Rabindranath Tagore and the art of Zen calligraphy, where the brushstrokes themselves are seen as an expression of the artist's inner state. In both East and West, mysticism challenges artists to look beyond the material world and express the ineffable, the unseen realities that mystics explore. In our modern, often chaotic world, mysticism offers a counterbalance, a way to reconnect with the deeper aspects of our being and the universe. As globalization brings Eastern and Western traditions into closer contact, many people are finding value in both. For instance, the practice of mindfulness, rooted in Buddhist meditation, has been widely adopted in the West, while the contemplative practices of Christian mysticism continue to inspire spiritual seekers in the East. Mysticism, whether Eastern or Western, offers profound insights into the human condition and the nature of reality. It invites us to look beyond the surface of things and to explore the deeper dimensions of existence. In a world dominated by materialism and technology, the mystical path provides an alternative, a journey inward towards the heart of what it means to be human. In the modern context, we also see the rise of new spiritual movements that blend Eastern and Western mystical traditions. The New Age movement, for example, draws heavily on both Eastern concepts like karma and reincarnation, and Western ideas of spiritual awakening and ascension. These contemporary interpretations show how mysticism continues to evolve, adapting to the needs and contexts of different eras. As we've seen, the mystical traditions of the East and West offer unique, yet complementary, approaches to the divine. They remind us that the quest for meaning and connection is universal, even if the paths we take are different. Whether you are drawn to the personal God of the West or the universal consciousness of the East, the mystical journey invites you to explore the depths of your soul and to discover the profound mysteries of existence. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of mysticism. If you found this exploration insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Divine Mystery for more deep dives into the mysteries of spirituality and the human experience. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking the divine in all its forms.